Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of AIC TV. I'm Edward Carr, your host, in partnership with Dukascopy TV. Today in the studio, we have Tal Schibler. Tal is the former president of the American International Club of Geneva. He's a very well-known Geneva lawyer, and he's also the chairman of our speakers committee. Tal, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me here.
It's great to have you here today, Tal. Tal, you were born in Switzerland. So what does the American International Club mean to someone like you or someone who's foreign or maybe other Swiss nationals?
Well, it's a great place to network, to meet people. It's a group of fine people, you know. And it's a great place to build and keep contact with Americans, with other foreigners who are and build this international community here in Geneva. So it's really a great place to be.
Mm-hmm. Great. And Tal, you know America well. You actually studied law in the United States. So what was that experience like?
Well, that was some years ago at Columbia University. I did a so-called LLM program, which is a master's in law. That was the start of the internet at that time, the early 90s. And you can imagine how the legal profession has changed because of that, as other professions, of course. More seriously, regarding the studies of law, in the US it's much more business-oriented. And of course, for us, it's a good addition to add on our more academic approach at university here. So I would recommend it to any young lawyer, to any Swiss or European student.
To study in the United States.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great. And then you took that experience, I know you worked for well-known Geneva law firms, but recently you've actually started your own firm.
Yeah, 3 years ago, in December, that's right, 3 years ago we started with 3 other partners, we started a new firm focusing on corporate law and contracts, which is my major. And we do serve Swiss companies, small and mid caps, and foreign companies who want to settle here in Switzerland.
Interesting. And are you seeing more foreign companies come in here to Switzerland, or what are some of the recent trends?
Not more. It has been a little bit slower. It slowed down in the last years, but Switzerland is still very attractive to foreigners. We have built on stability in Switzerland, and I think that this has been and still is one of our major assets, and foreign companies do appreciate that.
Great. And Tal, what are some of the challenges you see specifically for Geneva, the Geneva economy, the Geneva markets, from a legalistic or political point of view?
I would open it to the Lake Geneva region, not only Geneva. As I said, we have built our expertise on stability, on excellency. We are focusing on quality more as on quantity. And I think that this is very true. It has proven true in the past and still is, but it's very fragile, and we have to really continue keeping and bringing the talents here in this area, and therefore we have to work also on what we call here conditions cadres. That is, you know, the challenges as transportation, security, housing, and taxation, especially for companies. Geneva is facing a very, very important challenge. We had recently at the AIC a CEO forum with Professor Xavier Auberson, who entertained us about the challenges, especially in corporate taxation. We are under attack from foreign countries, especially the EU countries. And our multinationals and trading companies here in the area in particular are looking really with a lot of attention what's going on and what will be the future for corporate taxation in the area.
Mm-hmm. Close issues to watch in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But Switzerland, as we know, has direct democracy. I mean, just recently there was the referendum which was voted down on the 112 initiative. So what are your thoughts on that?
Again, stability. You know, Swiss people are rather mature in political rights, and we saw that it often shows in the result, and we saw that last weekend. They turned down this initiative, but the fact that this topic went all the way up to a vote, it shows that the Swiss people have been questioning now those stratospheric and unrealistic and probably often undeserved very high revenues, and the topic will be put to votation again next year. We are voting on a minimum revenue, so I think we have to be very careful. We have built our excellency also on this very good and stable balance between the employers and the employees, and I think it's we should be very careful not to break this social piece, which has been a very, very sound asset for us.
Mm-hmm. But I detect a lot of optimism in your comments in the stability of Switzerland, the direct democracy that works, and overall you sound very positive on the country going forward.
Yes, definitely. Mm-hmm. Definitely. I think our democracy allows people to put question to the public, to the vote. But in the end, we do make, I think, sound decision, and I'm quite optimistic for the next objects which will be put to vote as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep, great. Well, Tal, one last question. You know, I see outside today the Bise Noire, the winds are blowing pretty heavily, and I know that you're an avid sailor and accomplished yachtsman as well. You've actually sailed from Europe all the way over to the Americas. Tell us a little bit. What was that like?
That's true. Well, I guess that's an easy one. It's not such a big challenge. It looks like it when you are not a sailor, but actually crossing the Atlantic is a great personal adventure. But you know, the boat is doing much of the work, so it went fine. And it's true that now a breeze like today. It's okay. It doesn't put you at risk when you are on a boat.
Right. Maybe a good analogy for some of the headwinds that Switzerland is facing. You know, people might call it very, very difficult, but at the end of the day, Switzerland's going to sail through it fine, just like you sailed across the Atlantic. Absolutely.
And you may remember that we had Alinghi winning twice the America's Cup. So, you know, in Switzerland, we don't fear winds.
Right, right. Tal, thank you so much for coming in today and sharing some of your comments with us.
Thank you, Ed.
Thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Edward Carr, your host, in partnership with Dukascopy TV. We've had Tal Schibler, former president of the American International Club, well-known Geneva lawyer, and chairman of our Speakers Committee, with us today in the studio. Please stay with us in the future for more interviews.